Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears to some of the travails and tribulations that take place in our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And this one is coming straight to you right out of Oklahoma. I've done several videos on some disturbing things that have taken place in the state of Oklahoma, and this is just another unfortunate one. And this gentleman committed a murder-suicide on his family and himself, and he also worked for the Oklahoma City Thunder NBA basketball team. Here we go. All about Oklahoma family murder-suicide, where dad killed wife, 3 sons before the last surviving child called 911. Jonathan Candy, 42, fatally shot his wife, Lindsay Candy, 39, and 3 of their 4 children, ages 18, 14, 12, and 12, on April 22nd before dying by suicide. An Oklahoma mother and 3 of her sons were found dead earlier that week after being fatally shot by her husband, who then turned the gun on himself, authorities said. According to Oklahoma City Police, Jonathan Candy, 42, carried out the killings of his wife, Lindsay Candy, 39, and 3 of their 4 children, Dylan Candy, 18, Ethan Candy, 14, and Lucas Candy, 12, after an argument inside their family home on April 22nd. Authorities later revealed that the couple's 10-year-old son was a sole survivor and was the one who called 911. Police said they never received calls to the family's home prior to the murders, and that they had no history of domestic abuse reports. At an April 23rd press conference, police shared that the couple's 10-year-old son woke up that morning to find 5 bodies and subsequently dialed 911 around 9:30 a.m. The boy said that everyone inside the home appeared to be dead, according to police. According to ABC News, Oklahoma City Police Sergeant Gary Knight said the boy was in his room sleeping with the door closed and a box fan on during the murders, presumably muffling any sound. There is no indication he didn't sleep through it, Knight said, according to the outlet. Police confirmed that he's now staying with a relative. Following the tragedy, the Candy family released a statement to local station KFOR on April 23rd, expressing shock and describing Jonathan as goofy. Our entire family has been left shattered and confused with so many questions we won't ever have answers to, the statement reads. According to the outlet, Jonathan was one whose jokes and goofy attitude kept everyone smiling. Aside from these events, his children and wife were his entire life. The statement continues, I simply can't fathom what went on, but please hug your family tight. It's going to be a very long healing process for everyone affected. While police have yet to share a motive for the violence, an investigator theorized what happened in the home prior to the murders. Make no mistake, what happened in that residence was nothing short of a massacre, Oklahoma City Police Sergeant Gary Knight said at a press conference, according to Fox News. The children were hunted down and killed. Less than 2 years before the murder-suicide, Jonathan and Lindsay appeared in an interview for a TV series called Discover Oklahoma. In November 26, 2022 episode, the couple were described as regular customers of a bakery and deli in Yankton, Oklahoma, where the show was highlighting the eatery. He said, I came here twice a week in the morning just for their breakfast burritos, which are by far anything better than you can get around here. Jonathan says in the video, with Lindsay nodding in agreement. I love it because I can eat a big burrito and then I don't have to eat until nighttime. He said, I love carrot cake. I don't eat a lot of sweets, even with my last name. Jonathan jokes while Lindsay laughs, but I love the carrot cake. Lindsay adds, I like the cannoli. The cannoli is good. Those who knew the family spoke out at a vigil held by Ethan's baseball team April 23rd. TJ Armstrong, head coach of the Mustang Misfits, described the Candy family as your all-American family. I could live 100,000 lifetimes and never expect this to happen at all, he said, according to KOKH-TV. Wyatt Levacy, identified as Ethan's best friend, told the outlet, I could have never imagined that. Ever. In my whole entire life, I'm still in shock. Rhonda Armstrong, who described herself as a teen mom, added, at this point, I just wish the nightmare would be over. I wish it was all a bad dream and that we would wake up and they would still be here. Surviving child is surrounded by love. In a GoFund created by the surviving 10-year-old's uncle, he thanked people for their support for his nephew. He said, we spent time with our family this weekend, and my nephew was able to be surrounded by love and thankfully some of his friends during this trying time, said Brent Remorowski wrote in an update on the GoFundMe on April 29th. All the attention has made me reflect on the road ahead and what will happen when all of this attention goes away. And what's left is the reality of this situation. I guess that's when the real work will start, and the donations you are making now will be most meaningful for my nephew. The money raised on the fundraiser will go toward funeral expenses, counseling, education, and the child's general welfare. What an incredible story. This gentleman, there must have been several dynamics taking place inside their home for this to be the end conclusion by Mr. Jonathan Candy terminating his life, his wife, and 3 of his sons. There's a lot of chaos and disruption that's going on in many of our cities and our states in this country, but people don't understand that there's a lot of just chaos and disruption that's taking place within the 4 walls of many of our citizens' homes. And we never know what's going on with our family, our friends, our neighbors, and what dynamic is playing out, whether it's in a positive and or negative way. Evidently, there was something that snapped. Mental illness is a real thing. There is such an infinite line between life and death today. And as opposed to, I'm seeing so many stories where people who should get divorced or move on and go on their separate ways, fight through tough times, are resulting in life and death, and the end result being death. This is happening way too much in today's time. I think the level of mental illness, stress, anxiety, depression is at an all-time high. I think on the medical paradigm is not looked at or guised as something that is that important because you can't see it on an x-ray, but something like 25% of the U.S. citizens suffer from some form of depression, anxiety, stress on a daily basis, whether it's going diagnosed or undiagnosed. People have to understand in today's time that we need conflict mediation. We need to have someone to talk to reach out to. Many times when you're in a thunderstorm, that thunderstorm will pass just like it does in real life. These negative moments are not forever moments, and we have to learn how to work through our issues in a humanitarian way. It is very, very unfortunate and hateful and demonic for a husband to turn and kill his wife and his 3 children and then turn the gun on himself and leave one sole survivor son who is going to need all of the mental therapy, the physical and emotional and spiritual support that he can find for the surviving son. living with this situation where his father killed his entire family except for him. What a sad commentary. This story is something that we're seeing in today's time all throughout our cities. The middle class has a heavy burden that is being placed on them with inflation, with stress, with job security, raising kids, not having enough money, trying to maintain a mortgage, pay car notes. We're in a different time. No, job security is not safe anymore. Working at a place for 35 years and having a pension the rest of your life, those days are over. Artificial intelligence and technology is replacing manpower when it comes to manufacturing, distribution, and anything repetitive. So there are tons of stresses when you leave the home, and in many instances there are tons of stresses when you enter back into your home and your vestibule of your safe haven, which in this particular situation, Jonathan Candy must have felt that he had no way out, and his only recognizance was to kill and destroy his own family and himself. There is always a way out. This is a very unfortunate circumstance. If you're in need of help, please reach out. And for all of us that are running the rat race in life and just focusing on ourselves, on me, we need to understand that this is a we world and not a me world. And to offer an extension of help to help one person every day is something that should be manifested in our truth in a positive way for these kinds of circumstances not to happen. I don't know if he had telltale signs with Jonathan where his family could have been aware, his friends. Evidently in the article it says that he was goofy and he was a nice guy, and this just came out of nowhere. But many of us on the exterior may look like we're doing fine, but on the interior we might be suffering. And the way through garnering and getting through your suffering is to get help, whether it's medical therapy, mental therapy, having a conversation. If there's a conflict, we need conflict resolution and mediation, and we need to broaden the gap between life and death and understand that humanity is right there in the middle, and that we are here with a purpose to have a very fulfilled, positive, righteous, and God-fearing life. Tell me what you think about this story on Jonathan Candy murdering his wife and 3 of his sons and leaving one behind alive, all in his own domain and his home. This is very unfortunate, and I'm seeing a lot of stories about individuals that are hurting and even killing their own family members. We need to reach one and teach one. Love is an action and a verb. Even if it's a family member, if they don't show you that they love you, then you should move in a different direction and find solace and peace. Tell me what you think. This has been a Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth.